Welcome back to English Made Interesting. First, let us discuss the answers for the questions that were given in the previous video. The first exercise: form adjective phrases from the adjectives. The first one, a popular star. Popular is the adjective. So it can be written as liked by many people. That becomes the adjective phrase for the adjective popular. Now, second example, a kind woman. So the adjective kind can be written as with a kind heart, which becomes an adjective phrase. A golden bangle. Golden is the adjective here. It can be written as made of gold, which is an adjective phrase. A woolen sweater. Woolen is the adjective which is describing the sweater, and it can be written as made of wool, which means an adjective phrase. And one more thing you can notice, woolen can be written as W-O-O-L-E-N or double-L-E-N. One is American English and the other one is British English. Now, next example, a beautiful girl. Beautiful is the adjective which can be written as of great beauty, and that becomes the adjective phrase. An experienced artist. Experienced is the adjective and it can be replaced with an adjective phrase with experience. Now over to the second exercise, form adverb phrases from the given adverbs. Early is an adverb and the adverb phrase is before time. Suddenly is an adverb which can be replaced by an adverb phrase without notice. Kindly is an adverb which can be replaced with an adverb phrase in a kind way. Now is an adverb which can be replaced at this moment, which is an adverb phrase. Carelessly is an adverb and it can be replaced with an adverb phrase without care. There can be replaced with a phrase at that place. Away can be replaced with the phrase to another place. Similarly, swiftly can be replaced with an adverb phrase in a swift manner. Hope you got it right. Now we'll pass on to the next exercise where you will have to replace the adverb phrase with an adverb. A fire occurred here at a recent date. Now, at a recent date is an adverb phrase. It can be replaced with an adverb recently. Next sentence. He will report at the hospital before long. Here, before long is an adverb phrase which can be replaced with an adverb soon. Over to the next sentence. So children played with great happiness. With great happiness is an adverb phrase which can be replaced with an adverb happily. The pigeon flies with great speed. With great speed is an adverb phrase which can be replaced with an adverb swiftly. Now over to the next exercise. identify the kind of phrase. First sentence, to write was his ambition. To write is a noun phrase. It's a phrase doing the work of a noun. The man with a white beard is Ram's grandfather. With a white beard is an adjective phrase because it is describing the grandfather and it is doing the work of an adjective. So it is called as an adjective phrase. You must go right away. Must go is the verb phrase. Gandhiji started his march from this place. So here, from this place is a phrase and it is a noun phrase. He paints like a born artist. Like a born, it is an adverb phrase. Today, we will learn about clauses. What is a clause? A clause is a group of words that contain a finite verb, a subject and a predicate, but does not make a complete sense. So in that case, it becomes a dependent clause because it cannot stand on its own. But sometimes the clauses can stand alone and are called independent clauses. Now we'll look at the example. The van going to school got a flat tire. Here, going to school, it is just a phrase because it has no subject. Now look at the next sentence. The van which was going to school got a flat tire. Here, which was going to school is a clause because which is a subject and it refers to the van. Was going is the finite verb. So, it is a clause. Now look at the second example. The chair which was very old was broken. Which was very old is a clause and which refers to the chair. Next example, the house that Jack built is quite large. Here, that Jack built is the clause because that is the subject and it refers to the house. But since it cannot stand on its own, it just becomes a dependent clause. Now we'll just see what is a finite verb. Finite verbs change according to the tense, which means the time of action, the number of people doing the action, whether it is singular or plural, or the person doing the action, whether it is the first person or second person, third person pronouns, etc. Now look at the example. Verb changes according to the tense. Rita paints a picture. So here it is Rita paints a picture. It is simple present tense. It is happening in the present. Rita painted a picture. It is simple past tense because the verb here is painted. The action is over. Rita painted a picture. It is just a simple past tense. Look at the third example. Rita will paint a picture. Will paint is the future tense. It's a simple future tense. Rita is painting a picture. So, is painting means the action is still continuing, that too in the present. So, it is present continuous tense. So, hope it's clear that the verb changes according to the tense. Like paints, painted, will paint, is painting, etc. Now, verb changes according to the number of people doing the action. Now look at the examples. They are painting the picture. It is present continuous. They is plural. So you will have to write they are painting. Now I paint, that is first person pronoun. When you write you paint, it is second person pronoun. When you write she paints or they paint, it is the third person pronoun which is being used. So accordingly the verb changes. So you can see the change. Now we'll just see what a non-finite verb is. Non-finite verb does not have tense. It does not change its form depending upon the time of action, number of people doing the action, or the person doing the action. Example, she likes baking cakes. I like baking cakes. She liked baking cakes. They liked baking cakes. So here the verb baking does not change its form with the time of action. Now over to the types of clauses. There are two types of clauses. They are independent clause, main clause, principal clause. All means the same. They have finite verb, makes complete sense, and can stand on their own. A clause that has a subject and a predicate and makes complete sense is called a main clause. I told you, you can also call it as independent clause or the principal clause. When the sentence has only one main clause, then the clause itself is a sentence and it is a simple sentence. Example, I sang a song. Because it has got a subject and a predicate. It has a verb and makes sense. So, it is a main clause and at the same time a simple sentence. Now look at the second example. She wore a black shirt. So here again it is clear that there is a subject, there is a verb and it makes sense. So it is a simple sentence. Now we will see the second type of clause, which is dependent clause or subordinate clause. This type of clause will make sense when attached to an independent clause. It cannot stand on its own. That is why it is called as dependent clause or subordinate clause. Now look at the example. I like music which is composed by A.R. Rahman. I like music is a main clause or independent clause. It can exist on its own. Now the second part, which is composed by A.R. Rahman, is the dependent clause or subordinate clause. It cannot exist on its own. It is dependent on the main clause, that is I like music. Now look at the second example. The boy who is wearing a green shirt is my neighbor. This sentence is made up of two simple sentences. The boy is my neighbor. He is wearing a green shirt. The second sentence is converted into a clause and is subordinate to the first clause. The subordinate clause is introduced by which, who, that, etc. So that is when you write the boy who is wearing a green shirt is my neighbor. I hope you understand. Now we'll have a look at the third example. An if clause is a subordinate clause. If it rains, we shall not go out. So here, if it rains is the subordinate clause. We shall not go out is the main clause. Now, over to the exercise for practice. You will have to complete the given sentences by beginning with the words given in the brackets and form a subordinate clause. Now over to the kinds of subordinate clauses. Like phrases, clauses are also of three types: noun clause, adjective clause and adverb clause. So like phrases, clauses are also of three types. What are they? Noun clause, adjective clause and adverb clause. A clause that acts like a noun in a sentence is called a noun clause. Example: I fear that I will fail. Fear what? The answer is I will fail. And does the work of a noun. So it is a noun clause. It is in the place of an object. Now example 2. She found out the secret. Found what? The answer is the secret. And it does the work of an object. So it is a noun clause. A noun clause may perform the role of a subject, object or a complement in a sentence. Hope you got it. A noun clause may perform the role of a subject, object or a complement in a sentence. Example: the incident would happen was certain. The incident would happen is a noun clause. It does the role of the subject because it is coming in the subject's place. It is the subject of the verb was. Now example 4. He told me that the trip was cancelled. That the trip was cancelled is the noun clause doing the role of an object. So this clause is placed in the object's place. So it is the object of the verb told. He told me that the trip was cancelled. So it is the noun clause doing the role of an object. Hope it's clear. Now we'll pass on to the adjective clause. What is an adjective clause? A clause that does the work of an adjective is called an adjective clause. Look at the example. The boy who is wearing a red shirt is my cousin. Who is wearing a red shirt is the clause and it is an adjective clause because it is doing the work of the adjective by describing the noun boy. Now look at the second example. The girl who is sitting on the last bench is my sister. who is sitting on the last bench is the adjective clause. It's a clause doing the work of the adjective. An adjective clause describes a noun or a pronoun. It is introduced by who, whom, whose, which, that. An adjective clause should be placed as close as possible to the noun it describes. It's very important to place the adjective clause as close as possible to the noun it describes. Example: he was the boy who helped her. Who helped her is the adjective clause. Who refers to the boy. Now look at the next example. The girl wore the dress that John gave her. That John gave her is the adjective clause that refers to the dress. So this adjective clause is placed very close to the noun dress. Now what is an adverb clause? The clause that acts as an adverb in a sentence is called adverb clause. Kinds of adverb clauses. An adverb clause of time, which shows the time of action. It is usually introduced by when, whenever, while, till, as long as soon as, after, before, or since. Now look at the example. The match was stopped when it started to rain. So here, when it started to rain is the adverb clause of time. Now look at the next explanation. An adverb clause of place, which means the adverb clause which shows the place of action. It starts with where or wherever. Example: Ram searched for the pen wherever he could. Wherever he could is the adverb clause of place. Now, what is the adverb clause of manner? An adverb clause of manner shows the manner of action. It is introduced by as if, as though, as, etc. Example: it seemed as if he was lost. So here, as if he was lost is an adverb clause of manner. She behaved as if she was an actress. Here, as if she was an actress is the adverb clause of manner. It is the manner in which she behaved. Now we'll pass on to the adverb clause of reason. So what is an adverb clause of reason? It is the clause that shows the reason behind the action. It begins with because, since, now that, as, or that. Example: she became late because she missed the bus. So here, because she missed the bus is the adverb clause of reason. So it is giving the reason. Now, adverb clause of comparison. Here, it indicates a comparison of qualities. It begins with than, no less than, or as. It is darker now than it was in the morning. So here, than it was in the morning is the adverb clause of comparison. Now, what is an adverb clause of condition? Adverb clauses of condition are introduced by if, unless, provided, in case and whether. Example, Nancy will join the competition if her parents allow her. So here the condition is if her parents allow her. So it is the adverb clause of condition. Vishal will come here tomorrow unless it is a holiday. So here unless it is a holiday is an adverb clause of condition. Adverb clauses of purpose are introduced by that, so that, lest, in order that. Look at the examples. Walk carefully lest you should fall down. I studied hard so that I would clear the exam. It is the adverb clause of purpose. Now over to the exercise for practice. Pick out the subordinate clause and say what kind of a clause it is. The next exercise, thanks for watching. Take care and stay safe.